Good evening. Welcome to Classically Schooled on Twitch or my YouTube channel, whichever one you are browsing. Tonight, we had a shorter than normal Mac Yak, but I was trying to get ready for tonight's After Yak Mac Attack, coming to you live from my iMac G4. Wait, that's not right. Coming to you live from an iCam on top of my iMac G4. All right, that's more like it. Yes, this iMac G4 is definitely not going to be streaming online anytime soon, but with a little assistance from my capture card. And yes, as you can see, I am giving it the proper capture treatment tonight. None of that weird LCD angle mumbo jumbo from last week, which even was hurting my brain trying to position the cameras. I have I had the capture card, but I could not find my DVI to VGA cable, and I believe that's because I may actually not have had one. I might have mixed up the cables I saw in my drawer at work with the cables I thought I saw in a box at home. And, well, last week went on a wild goose chase for a cable that was never in my house to begin with. Amazon to the rescue! I have a proper VGA to DVI cable, and I am using my Vision AV-HD capture card, and the image looks pretty good considering the odd resolution and stretching it so that it's a little bigger on the screen. Now, you might be wondering, why an iMac G4? Well, I never owned an iMac G4 until early last year when one of my friends, who was in the process of trying to move and was cleaning house, brought this wonderful iMac G4 to work to try to find a new owner. And I'm not sure if I was the first person he came to, but I was certainly on his list. But I was also trying to move myself and trying to clean house. But I could not refuse his offer, which was if you don't take it, it's going in the scrap bin. And I took one look at the beautiful design from the early 2000s with the lovely pivoting LCD screen, which actually looks really nice. There is a spot on the LCD screen, a dark spot right about here where someone may have put a thumb or something. I mean, you can't see it on the capture card, but it's there on the LCD screen. And there's a little bit of adhesive residue on the screen here, which I'll clean off in a future stream. I just need to do a little research on the best way to do it without ruining the display. But other than that, the display is nice and crisp. It's bright, and it is a joy to use with a two-button mouse. I that I am using an actual Apple keyboard, but I did go get a two-button mouse. It's actually the mouse I've been using on my Power Mac G4. But this iMac last week started off with a 60 gigabyte hard drive, I believe, an IDE 60 gigabyte hard drive. Give or take, it had 256 megabytes of RAM from the factory. It was one 256 megabyte DIMM, because if you aren't aware of how the iMac has its memory, there are two memory slots. One is a non-user accessible, or Apple designated as non-user accessible. You can get to it if you remove enough screws, but it's a DIMM. It takes PC 133 memory, or PC 100, it seemingly, as the screen's telling me here. But there is a second memory slot that all you have to do is remove the 4 screws of the metal panel on the bottom, and it's an SODIMM. And again, it PC 133 or PC 100 SODIMM. Unfortunately, the SODIMM I bought was defective. OWC has issued me an RMA, and I just have to get to the post office because I'd rather send it back first class, and it seems as if the post office does not let you print out a first class label on their website. So I shall have to go to the post office probably Saturday because the post office that is closest to me is the opposite direction from work. But the cool thing is their Saturday hours are like noon to 3 or noon to 4 because the postmistress actually works at 2 post offices, and she's at the other post office in the morning, and our post office is open in the afternoon. So it's actually nice that I can go at a more convenient time on Saturday for me when she's at our post office rather than having to go early to one of the other post offices. Plus, there's usually no line, or maybe there's one person. And yeah, it's a post office that probably at that point's more or less in the country. People like to talk, but hey, that's cool. I totally get it, and I've had conversations with the postmistress too. She's pretty cool. I'm just glad we have a little post office. But some other specs. This is a PowerPC G4 800 megahertz. I have upgraded it to a 120 gigabyte solid state drive. I did pick an OWC drive because it was sold as compatible with this Mac. However, the adapter didn't really want to fit. I actually have it in this Mac with 0 screws because the the adapter they sent, when I tried to line it up with screw holes, it actually would not go back in because the SATA to IDE adapter that was included was too tall. So there's no screws holding it in, but there's nothing it can touch because other than possibly the fan blades. Because the solid state drive is on top of everything else. It's fine. It does look like it has a DVD burner, which I don't know if that was standard on this model, but I think the 800 megahertz was the level up config for this particular model. So that may have been standard. I do have Tiger, but I have it on CDs because I actually forgot this had a DVD burner. I would have saved myself a bunch of trouble. Somewhere I have a Tiger DVD. Excuse me, I don't know where it is. Um, this computer does have FireWire. It has USB. I believe it is USB 1 and not USB 2, but that's okay. I'm trying to look if or see if it will see if it shows. Oh, the display card. Yes, it has a GeForce 2 MX graphics card. I want to say with 32 megabytes of memory. Ah, yes, the good old days. 32 megabytes of memory. And this is macOS 10 WUD, which is what it shipped with. I ran the restore disks, which I did not get with the Mac. I bought them on eBay. Luckily, I used process of elimination to figure out which restore disks were for this iMac, and they worked. Basically, I went to every Mac, I pulled up the specs for this Mac, and I realized it was the only iMac that shipped with, or the only iMac G4 that shipped with OS 9.2.2 and OS 10.1.2, I believe it was. Yes. Oh, I keep forgetting. Because this is the oh, I guess they don't show you the. I was looking for the iMac identifier. I think it actually identifies as a Power Mac 4, 2. I guess they did not put that here. Maybe let me run this update. Maybe it'll show the rest of the information. Anyways, I discovered that the later iMac G4s shipped with OS 10.2. So this iMac was the only one that shipped with 10.1.2. Therefore, if I found iMac discs that had OS 10.1.2 on it, then they were the discs originally for this computer. And lo and behold, the first day I went to go look, I found a set. And if anyone is wondering, the part number for the iMac G4 that I believe it identifies as 4, 2, Power Mac 4, 2, when we install Tiger. Oh, hey, Sad Mac 356. Oh, wait, that says you just subscribed. Thank you very much. Eep. Oh, on YouTube. Yes, eep. That means my YouTube link worked. Yay! Anyways, so the discs for this iMac, if you have a iMac G4 that identifies as Power Mac 4, 2, we'll confirm when we install Tiger, is 603-0425-B. And the software restore discs, it looks like the software restore disk 104 has part number 691-3523-A. And I think if you find that set, then you have the restore discs. Looking to see if there were any other. If you're interested, I'll probably put in the YouTube description afterwards all of the part numbers, because some eBay sellers only will take photos of 1 or 2 discs. Luckily, in this case, they took pictures of the correct 2 discs, and it was enough for me to know this was the correct set, because they put a picture of the OS 9 and the OS 10 discs, and I saw the version and realized this was the set for this computer. The other cool thing about this computer is that it has native OS 9 boot ability. If I can remember, oh, I go to the control panel. It also can run classic mode with OS 10.1.2, but it'll also run classic mode in Tiger, I believe. So just to kind of show that working, if I can remember. So if I need to run software or want to run software that doesn't work under classic mode, I can just change the OS to start up to and reboot. And fortunately, the iMac When you plug in an external monitor, at least this iMac, it automatically knows you want to mirror video, which is cool. So it's that easy, and we are natively booting up into macOS 9.2.2. And with the solid state drive installed, it's actually pretty snappy to boot OS 9.2.2. Way snappier than MacYak booting OS whatever it is. It's like a amalgamation of macOS versions. There we go. Look at how fast and snappy that was. I've already set this up, so I don't have to worry about these operating systems playing things that will make the content match angry, but I will have to mute the microphone when we get to a certain point of the Tiger install, assuming I don't manage to get it to mute from the keyboard quick enough. Because Apple has the macOS startup videos sounds in Content Match. And I believe I've heard you can buy them on iTunes even. Do not know what the names are. I will trust that they're there. I was actually curious. Nope. The system profiler shows the same exact information. What do you know? Anyways, but it boots into OS 9 and runs OS 9 really nicely. And we could boot right back into OS 10 because as much as I would like to experience OS 10.1, I don't want to. Although I am going to miss the Happy Mac because macOS 10.1 apparently did not replace the Happy Mac with the Apple logo. I think 10.2 did that. So I will miss the Happy Mac on the macOS boot. But Tiger is probably a better version of macOS 10 than, I believe this is Puma. And what better way to upgrade macOS than live on a live stream? Because hey, maybe you'll have questions. Maybe I'll have questions and you'll have answers. Maybe you'll have questions and I'll have answers. And maybe we'll have to go Google it on DuckDuckGo. But I'll have to do that on the computer beside the iMac because I guess one nice thing is I won't mind actually trying to find a web browser while Tiger is running. I don't know if there's any web browsers modern enough that will run on Puma. And the really awesome thing is, and maybe it's not so awesome because I can't hear how good or bad it's picking up on the microphone. You might even get to hear some of the awesome background noises of the iMac, such as the optical drive spinning, the chime, because the one, probably the one disadvantage to this iMac is it has the Apple digital audio speaker output on it. So I could not just simply plug in an audio cable to capture the audio because that would require an adapter I do not have. Assuming it ever was designed, or I just need to get a USB audio adapter that's compatible with Tiger. That's probably what I'll do because that will be easier than trying to adapt the digital audio output because it's supposedly digital. Although I often wondered how digital it really is. Maybe it is. I've seen the speakers. The cables do look like there could be a chip in the cable. If I really wanted to make this live stream fun, I would pick a language that I have no idea which language it even is, which would be any of these except that one, that one, that one, and that one, and that one, and I think even that one because I see words. Well, I know that's French. I believe that's German. I know that's Spanish. I know that's Italian. That's Portuguese. Or yeah, Portuguese. Um, okay, maybe I don't know which language this is, but I know what country it is. And that looks like Slovakian. Maybe it's not Slovakian. But anyways, we'll use English. To install macOS 10, click Continue, then follow the on-screen instructions. Read the following information before you install macOS 10. Alright, for you speed readers, here's the information. Oh wait, maybe I should read this. System requirements. Alright. PowerPC G4, check. DVD drive, excellent. Despite the fact Tiger came on CDs. You had to have a DVD drive. Whatever. Built-in FireWire, check. At least 256 megs of RAM. I have double that. Built-in display, yes. Disk space available, definitely. Well, I guess I'll have to see if we have to update firmware. Here's the speed reading in case anyone's interested. All right, we're going to click continue. And I guess I agree to the software license. Oh, okay. Preserve users and network settings. We'll give that a try. All right. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Customize. Printer drivers. I'm not going to print from this. That'll save disk space for games. I think I can turn that off. Language translations. Well, that's another 1.1 gigs I can have for games, so I'm going to turn that off. I will turn X11 on, though. Oh, good. That means I don't need disk 4. I'm going to live wild because I burned these disks less than an hour ago. Yes, this would be the perfect time for some background music that I had created for my channels. However, I am waiting for the Copyright Office to let me know they have issued my copyright because I copyrighted them as unpublished works. And as far as I can tell, they need to stay unpublished until they grant the copyright. So instead, imagine there's cool music playing while macOS 10.4 installs. But not the do 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 song that plays during the movie because Apple might content strike your brain. Ha ha ha. You laugh, but okay, probably not. I also hope that the stream sounds better than some of my last streams. In fact, actually, better than a lot of my last streams. I think finally Streamlabs helped me figure out what the issue is or was. I finally put a case in, I guess it was Sunday, after trying everything I could think of. I think the problem was the audio bitrate that I had set. And I left Streamlabs OBS on the default stream bit rates, thinking those were the best that Twitch supported. But I was wrong. It seems as if when I Streamlabs, they first told me it's your bandwidth. I did a speed test. My bandwidth's fine. I have more than enough bandwidth for the bit rates I had set. Then they did finally reply back and say, we think it might be because you've got the software encoder set, or it's your audio bit rate. And sure enough, when I changed the audio bitrate on my computer downstairs and did a test stream, it sounded fine. So, one of the last minute things I did was I changed the audio bitrate on this computer and didn't have time to test it. So, I'm hoping it's fine. Otherwise, I apologize. But I really would be stumped if fixing the audio bitrate downstairs worked, but it didn't work up here. Unless there's something wonky going on with the encoder on this computer, because I have two different graphics cards. Because graphics card shortages. So, yep. Although, actually, I'm not sure if the graphics card I have downstairs is better than the one in this computer, but this computer has a workstation graphics card. It's a AMD Radeon Pro WX 7100, and downstairs is I have my GeForce GTX 970. So I want to say the AMD card is maybe. I think I did a GPU comparison and compared the two online, and they were roughly equivalent. Even though I think the AMD card is slightly newer, it's also the largest single slot card in the Radeon Pro series for that particular line. So I think they were roughly equivalent speed wise. I think the AMD has a little more RAM on it. I think the GeForce card is a little faster, unless you use more than 3.5 gigabytes of VRAM. Because, as you might have realized, the GTX 970 is that infamous video card that that Nvidia disabled one of the memory channels, basically. So the last half a gig uses the same memory channel as one of the other channels. So you go over 3.5 gigs of VRAM usage, and your performance tanks. Interestingly enough, or probably not so surprisingly, that's why I never sold the card, is because it was never worth enough to sell it because of that flaw, even though it's a perfectly good card. So I guess the good thing is that meant I still had it when I couldn't buy a better video card in trying to put together streaming computers. So, well, I guess actually it's a good thing I never was able to sell it for what I thought the card was actually worth. And actually now, that particular card isn't worth that much more than it was before the pandemic. Interestingly enough, yeah, I mean it is worth a little more, but now you go up to the GTX 980, yeah, those are still going for a decent amount. 10 series, yeah. I can tell that's the preferred starting point for people who need something better but can't get a new card. So, yeah, the 1080s are going for pretty decent prices. I think the 1070s were too. They didn't have that limitation that the 970 had. Nvidia learned their lesson. Yeah, 20 series though, definitely not getting a 20 series. And unless I win the new egg shuffle, won't be getting a 30 series. So I can tell you, people do win the new egg shuffle. Because I actually did win it once. However, and a cruel twist of irony, their shopping cart would not let me complete checkout. So yeah, I so I didn't actually get a graphics card. And maybe it's just as well. I later figured out that the card I was selected for was had coil wine, and I was actually intending to use the card. So I would have ended up having a card that I would have felt obligated to use because I needed it for video editing, and I would have had to put up with coil wine potentially. So, well, instead I'll just use my GTX 970 until it is completely not supported by anything I need to use. But it does seem to work well with OBS. So now, granted, I the computer I have downstairs is not for playing games, so I haven't tried playing a game and streaming from OBS on that graphics card. That might be a bit different. My computer downstairs is just for streaming electronics repairs, or as the case has been the past 3 streams this week, electronic destructions. So yeah, if you want to watch some absolutely miserable experiences soldering, you could watch my stream from Sunday, which actually you can't watch it right now because it went so badly. I actually unlisted the videos until I can go and uh, at least the I probably will not relist the Twitch one because I don't know if Twitch has the tools to let me do this. But I need to go into YouTube Studio and I need to add some text captions in some places to warn you that what I did was horribly bad, awful, wrong. Don't repeat it. Because Sunday's stream went badly because I did some things wrong. And also had some technology I was using fail me. Um, yeah, I had bought some generic solder iron tips. I will not be buying them again. That was also part of the problem Sunday and Monday and last night. Yeah, so Sunday night, I destroyed a PCB trying to solder an IC socket on a board. That was not fun. I I do have. Luckily, it was an open source project. I have ordered PCBs from Osh Park. I did get an email, I think Monday or Tuesday of this week, saying that the boards had gone to the fabricator. So I may have. I probably won't have boards this Sunday. In fact, I don't think it's possible that I'd have them this Sunday. Might have them next Sunday, and we may get the opportunity to try soldering that project again. Although I need to order parts that I soldered on that board and have been unsuccessful at desoldering. I'll get to that in a moment. Monday night, that stream is still up. I tried soldering the synthesizer kit I'd been advertising I was going to build on Monday nights. I got the power jack soldered on. I then tried soldering 4 diodes on, and I could not get the solder to flow on the diodes. And I ended up spending I don't know how long desoldering one of the diodes because I I did finally manage to get solder to flow, I soldered, I think, one and a half of the diodes out of the four, then happened to flip the board over to look at something and realized that the one diode had drooped down and it looked awful. And then I spent, I don't know how long, trying to desolder it with my rework station. So, yeah, if you want to watch a painful stream, that didn't go so well. And then, last night, yes, it was last night for whatever Wednesday, I decided that, so I had the Zoxbox on Monday. I had that board, failed at soldering. I also realized I'd borrowed some parts for myself, and I went to go try to find the parts on vendors, and I can't get the parts. So I had a spare board that I had reflowed the serial USB to serial chip on. I was going to sell the board, but I realized that I can't get the parts that I'd soldered on that board, either long lead times or I'd have to pick a different component. And I had bought some nice audio grade capacitors, which Nichicon has discontinued. And so I realized, well, I'll start with the other board. It already has those diodes soldered. And I'll just start from there and pick up where I left off on it, because I don't have to order any parts, which may have been discontinued or have long lead times. And for that, because I used leaded solder to start that board, because it's an older PCB, and I suspect it was not built for lead-free soldering. I decided, well, let me use my rework station, because I bought it for doing leaded work, for repairing and soldering. So I soldered one of the linear regulators on the board. The leaded solder wasn't really flowing that well on my rework station. I think that might have actually, well, it was flowing fine, but it was going through the hole and globbing up on the other side of the component. I think that might be because the linear regulator I bought is not the one they sized the holes for, because the one they sized the holes for is discontinued, but there's compatible components. I think that was the problem. But anyways, by the time I finally got the solder sorted, I plugged the board in to test it, and that linear regulator was not functioning. So I pulled out the desolder gun on this rework station. I was desoldering that linear regulator, and at some point I accidentally touched the the desolder gun to something on the board, and sparks flew. That desolder gun dumped current into the board. And I've gone back and watched the video. I did confirm I did not have the transformer plugged into the board. So that was not power from the transformer sparking to the desolder gun. That was power apparently sparking from the desolder gun into the board. And unfortunately, when that happened, I started testing all the other components on the board, and all the ICs on the board are dead. So if you watched last night's stream, unfortunately, my little video box, unfortunately, because of how long my desolder pumps cables were, I was on top of where the sparks flew. But if you go watch, but you can still go watch the live stream. I think it's at 54 minutes and like 59:50 or something like that. Luckily, you can still see that the sparks flying out from behind me. And I guess I must have been better composed than I thought I was, because I just simply say something like, "Oh, that's not good." And then that's why after a be right back to compose my thoughts, I disassembled that rework station. So if you like unexpected disassemblies during live streams, last night's stream might be for you. Except it had audio issues. But you might watch my Instagram. I did download the video, and I'm going to try to clip the part of the video where sparks actually flew, but because that's probably the best worst part of the live stream. But yeah, my rework station killed the board last night, and I don't know if it's going to start playing that video or not. I mean, it should be asking me. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I was about to say, I know it needs discs 2 and 3. It told me so. Because I made the mistake of thinking I needed CDs and not a DVD. Because somewhere, and I'm half expecting to find the disc I can't find on this table, like under something, but but like not under something enough that completely blocks it, but just hidden enough that in my rush I didn't see it. I'm just waiting to like go, aha, it was there the whole time. Why didn't I see that? I should have seen the corner of it. No, it's not sitting up there. Because I know I've got it. Because I used it to install Tiger on my Power Mac G4. Which, no, it's not sitting on top of my Power Mac G4. That would have been too logical of a place for me to have left it. Oh, no. No, I put my Tiger disc somewhere, probably somewhere non creative and obvious, and I'm simply overlooking it. Oh, wait a minute. I think I know where it might be. I think I may have taken it downstairs when I took my iMac downstairs. It's probably laying on my table downstairs. That's probably where the Tiger DVD is. Well, I wished I'd realized that when I went downstairs to get the iMac, that there was probably a disc sitting on the table. Oh well. I don't know that I'd ever installed Tiger with CDs, considering its system requirement was had to have, had to have a DVD drive. So I'm really not sure why Tiger was available on CDs, since the system requirement said DVD drive. Beats me. Actually, I have to say the install's pretty quick going to a solid state drive. I mean, it's slowed down by the fact we're reading CDs, although I'm not sure reading a DVD would be that much faster because it still would have to seek. I mean, it might be a little faster. You wouldn't have to swap discs. Now, I would be curious to know if there's any games that you think might run great on an iMac. By the way, Diablo 2 is not such a game. Now, if I could find my Diablo disc, which is I have somewhere, or I'm pretty sure I had a Diablo disc. The key to finding that disc is I have to remember where in my townhouse that disc was, because that will determine which box I put it in. Because yeah, I didn't have all my software discs in one spot. And I'm pretty sure I kept it. It's just a matter of where it was. Because on the one hand, I remember buying the Diablo battle chest or the Diablo 2 battle chest back in the day because they packaged it in these discs. But can't. But the thing is, I can't. I haven't found that disc yet. I know I've got it somewhere. In fact, somewhere I think I even have Hellfire, the unofficial official expansion from Sierra Games. Unfortunately, that does not run on a Mac. So, but if I can find my Diablo disc or find a alternate means of Diablo disc, uh, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Uh, then I'll install Diablo. Ah, oh, wait a minute. That's weird. Well, um, I'll just say that I'm downloading something now. I'll have to go to my MacBook to do something with these files. But actually, there's something very interesting that I just ran across, and it's reportedly Hellfire for System 7, 7.6, and Mac OS 9. So maybe Sierra did have a Mac version of that. But the version I have is PC only. So it is quite possible that I mean, it won't install on the Mac. I know I've checked the disk. It's Windows only. So I guess maybe they had separate versions. But oh wow, I'm just looking at this screenshot on Macintosh Garden, and that looks so cool. I forgot how good the original Diablo looked, given its lower graphics specs. So yeah, this will be cool. I'll have now this won't. Ironically, I don't think this will run on Tiger, so I'm going to go through this whole process of installing Tiger, and I just got to boot into OS 9. I'm not sure this will run on classic mode. The instructions are saying that I am going to need to burn a disk, so there's no sense to go do that yet because it's still downloading. I mean, I still would like to find my original disc, but I guess it won't be necessary for tonight. But I know I've got it in the house somewhere. And really, the only reason I want to find it is it's going to bug me to no end where it went, because I know I have it somewhere. And the thing is, when I find that disc, I think I have the a Diablo 2 strategy guide with it, because I think that came in the battle chest. But I guess I don't really need that to play the game. But I was just really wanting to find it just to confirm what I was thinking was included in the Diablo 2 battle chest. Because I also remember back in the day buying Warcraft 3. It was the like collector's edition, and I know that came with a strategy guide. And somewhere in the house, I have those discs, and they're probably in a separate place because I had Mac discs in three different places in the townhouse. So all those discs were in three different boxes, and the only reason I found the Diablo 2 discs is because they were in a place and got dumped in a box with some cables, and I needed cables from the box. Or rather, I thought I needed cables from the box until I dug through the box, realized what cables were in the box, realized that they were not the cables I was looking for. But oh, wait, once I dug through the box, there's the Diablo 2 discs. They were in the bottom of the box. That's how I managed to find them. And if you're curious what cables I thought I found and thought they were what I needed, but they weren't, yeah, I had some DB9 to DB25 serial cables. Uh, I have I have two modems from a failed experiment to try to get them to talk to each other without a phone line. I think I may actually have a device that'll let me connect the two together. I may try re-remembering what it was like back in the day to use a modem. What would be really fun is if I could also then remember what it was like for someone to pick the phone up while you were on the modem. No, just kidding. That was awful. And no, I'm not going to rush to do the connect two modems together and hear them squawk and then share files between your two computers over modem. I'm not in any hurry to do that. All right, Tiger has almost finished installing, and my downloads are almost finished downloading. So let me. I'm gonna put them on. See here. I'll put that. Gotta gotta put the files on my NAS because I need to take them to my MacBook Air. Oh, it also helps when you use the correct keys on the keyboard, or use the correct keyboard to press keys to select multiple files. All right, so I am going to take a short break so I can go burn discs because I do need to burn Diablo to a disk because that's what the instructions say is you do need a disk. I think I have just enough CDs to burn Diablo, and I suspect Hellfire is also on a disk. So I am going to take a short break, and this is also partially because macOS is finishing installing, and I want to go burn those disks while it's finishing up so we can install Diablo once it's done. And if I go to be right back, then if Tiger plays this video, I don't have to worry about Twitch and YouTube picking up on the audio because there will be none. So I'll be back in a few minutes with some discs in hand, and we'll check out Diablo on an iMac. So stay tuned. All right, I am back without discs in hand because for some reason my network is running slow, which is weird. So files are taking a long time to copy. So I, but as you can see, I did plug this iMac into the network so I could get to my NAS. Um, Apple still has the updates up on the internet. But I'm not going to install those updates now. I do want to confirm my suspicion that, okay, so classic mode is still installed, as I suspected. And even though I've installed Tiger, I want to see that we can still boot into macOS 9. I'm also, I just mounted the one of these disk images to the computer I'm streaming from because I wanted to see. And okay, even though Macintosh Garden has Hellfire hosted, as I suspected, and why I was surprised that it was there, it is PC only. It requires Windows 95. I think it'd be easier to find a Pentium 60 or faster computer than it would be to port Windows 95 to power PC. All right, well, it is probably good that I did not waste a disk on burning that. I may play it sometime. I do have a disc somewhere, but yep. Now the Diablo disc I am downloading. Actually, weird thing is, it's actually was going to be faster to re-download it from Macintosh Garden than it what than my to copy it from my NAS. I don't know what's up with my network. Although my MacBook Air's on Wi-Fi, that may have something to do with it. So good. Now that we've installed Tiger, we can still boot into macOS 9. Still works. I figured it would be that it would still work. But let's see. Suspect macOS 9 will. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to wait for the file to copy on my MacBook Air because I don't have Toast, and as fast as downloads are going right now, it'd take too long to download Toast to be able to burn the disk on this iMac. And I don't have stuff it on the PC, although that is a good question. Did Apple ship stuff at Expander? Um, um, Well, I guess let's go back to Mac OS 10. Because maybe there's something I could do on Mac OS 10 with what I downloaded. Mac OS 10 might actually be able to connect to my NAS over SMB. Because I have a share, I have two SMB shares and excuse me, an AFP share. And I have the AFP share specifically for older Macs. So, but I copied the Diablo to my SMB share because I downloaded it on Windows. Let's see if hmm. Oh, okay. I cannot. All right, well, I'm going to go check on file copy progress on my MacBook Air, so hold on. I'll be right back if it's not done copying. All right. The good news is that the disk is now burning. Luckily, I had the unarchiver installed on my MacBook Air. It just took a while to extract the stuffit file that the Diablo disk image was compressed with. So it is writing. I am not trying to burn over my network, so it should succeed. I'll give it a minute or two, and then we will have a Diablo original disk. I am booting into macOS 9 to prepare. And I am looking at the Macintosh Garden page to see if anyone by chance mentions some numbers I can enter. Because otherwise, I will have to see if I can't find my disk. All right, I suspect my disk has finished burning, so I'm going to go check it and go grab the disk, and I will be back in a moment, and hopefully we'll have a disk in hand, and hopefully we'll be able to do something with it, because I'd like to see this iMac run Diablo one way or another. Well, I now know where my Halo for Mac disc is, as in the original Mac Play version. We'll just install Diablo. I'll install this into... There we go. Oh wow, I just realized how dark that is coming across on the capture card. That's a little bit... Oh wow. I also forgot how slow the walking was. It's Deckard
Hello,
Cain.
my friend. Stay a while and listen. Well, what can I do for you?
Sounds like Scotty, but it's Griswold.
Thank goodness you returned. Much has changed since you lived here, my friend. All was peaceful until the Dark Riders came and destroyed our village. Many were cut down where they stood, and those who took up arms were slain or dragged away to become slaves, or worse. The church at the edge of town has been desecrated and is being used for dark rituals. The screams that echo in the night are inhuman, but some of our townsfolk may yet survive. Follow the path that lies between my tavern and the blacksmith shop to find the church and save who you can. Perhaps I can tell you more if we speak again. Good luck.
Alright, have not received a quest yet.
What ails you, my friend?
Wow, how slow the walking is.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
Well, let's go down to level 1 in the church, and maybe that will spawn a quest. Oh, here we go.
Please, listen to me. The Archbishop Lazarus. He led us down here to find the lost prince. The bastard led us into a trap. Now everyone is dead, killed by a demon he called the Butcher. Avenge us! Find this butcher and slay him, so that our souls may finally rest.
Is it me, or does that slain townsman sound Scottish?
The sanctity of this place has been fouled.
I don't think I... Oh, there we go. How about let's cast, or we'll equip the Firebolt spell. What's the hotkey? Oh, S, of course. S for spell. Spells. That's not right. Spell. Up, that's not gonna help. Well, it would help if I remembered what the key combinations are. I'm thinking I should find a healing potion. Maybe also pull open the manual to this game and see what the keys are. So the keys are... not where I expected them to be in the game manual. Oh, there we go. Keyboard commands. Okay, I'll figure it out. If anyone in the chat remembers what the key sequence is to
Good day.
fire a
How may I
spell,
serve you?
that would be handy to know.
What ails you, my friend?
Well, what can I do for you?
We'll buy a cap and a robe.
Well, what can I do for you?
And we'll take that. 1 gold. And go back down to the level 1 in the church. Although I'm not going to play for too long. Main thing is, I just wanted to see this game run. And run it does. Actually, it runs quite nicely too. Quite nicely. I just don't remember what some of the key combinations are. Well, I mean, I guess if the Hellfire expansion wants a Pentium 60, then I guess I'm not surprised that a G4 800 megahertz is enough, more than enough to play this game. Oh, good. Goody goody gumdrops. I should be leveling up soon. There we go. I leveled up. Oh, and the Fallen run away in this version too. It's not just a Diablo 2 annoyance. Get back here. Guess we could probably apply that skill point, or what do we get in this game? We get 5 points. And as a sorcerer class, I think the first level needs to go to magic. And yeah, I think the second I'll put to health. Oh. Scroll of Inferno. And I just got schooled. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. I forgot to save the game. So, yep, started back at the beginning. Well, I guess that's fine. It is midnight, and that brings us to a good point to conclude this stream, where at least I now have Tiger installed, and have Diablo installed. Not that it was that big a deal to install Diablo. Got a little gameplay in. Got a little too cocky, and my character died. So, c'est la vie. And Sherlock is running on live stream. Whatever. I could stop it, but it doesn't matter, as I have hit the time where I need to end the stream. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, install of Tiger. Probably seen it before. Play Diablo. Haven't seen that as many times on streams. The original Diablo had been wanting to try it again for a while, so I may do some gameplay on the original Diablo on my Sunday night streams now that I have it installed. So if you want to see that or some of my other electronics and Mac shenanigans, give me a follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, and I hope to see you in a future stream. Have a great evening, and my next scheduled stream is Sunday afternoon. So I hope to see you then. And if not then, at a later stream. So have a good evening. See you later. Bye.